So, as mentioned, my name is Rhys or Rhys if you're from North Wales, but generally when people try to say that, I get covered in a thin layer of spit, because, that's the Welsh way. I am Welsh, I can say that, so we'll just stick with Rhys. I'm the chief enthusiast, which means that I like to live life enthusiastically. This evening is going to be a little bit different. Here are the objectives. Now, you've decided to invest what I consider to be one of your most precious resources, effectively the resource that you never get back, which is time. Which means that if you're investing time into this, I want you to come into it with an objective and an outcome. These are our objectives and outcomes, and I want you to be thinking through everything that I'm saying. What does this mean for me? How does this apply for me? And also make a commitment to yourself, for goodness sake, to walk out of here and take a next step towards the future that you want to create. Because otherwise, it's all just been talk. So, 3 key tenets that I'm going to talk about today. Identity, story, and journey. Because whether or not you're talking about money, or you're talking about career, or you're talking about marriage, these 3 tenets, I think, form the bedrock of what success looks like. But here's the slight disclaimer. I love an awkward turtle. Now, there's people in the audience who are like, I have absolutely no idea what that is. Some people are like, yep, I love one too. Let me explain it to you. An awkward turtle is one of 2 things. 1 is a life philosophy. 2, it's actually not a life philosophy, that's probably a bit grandiose. 2, it's a movement. And 3, it's a sense that I'm willing to ask the awkward questions, have the awkward conversations, because it's only in that awkward space that breakthrough comes through. So, I am going to be a bit awkward. I'm going to be a bit unorthodox. If you are coming somewhere to get death by PowerPoint and be handed out a massive tome of references, honestly, I say this with all the love in the world, please feel free to leave, because it's not going to be that, and I don't want to disappoint you. But if you're willing to be challenged, if you're willing to have your preconceptions unpacked a little bit, if you're willing to feel a little bit or a bit awkward turtle, you're in the right place. And I grew up in a very small part of Wales, tiny little village, 3 churches, 3 pubs, so whichever way inclined you were, you had a place to go. The sort of place that you would tell your mum something and then you'd leave the house and walk down the street and then bump into a stranger and they'd be like, oh, I hear you started dating that girl. I'm like, how the hell do you know that? I've literally started. Everybody knew everybody's business. Which means that if you were a little bit different, if you were, if you like, a bit of an awkward turtle, you really stood out. I was hugely into church as a kid. Was convinced I was going to be a vicar. I would wear the little dog collar, I made my own, arts and crafts. And I would hand out this little collection plate around the front room and I would get people to pray and I'd get really excited. But I also, at the same time, knew I was different. And I couldn't put my finger on why. And you know what's interesting? Everybody else seemed to know before I did. They would point at me. They would say really quite challenging words, but to be honest, at the age of 6, I was like, oh yeah, they're calling me nice names. Maybe it's a Welsh word that I haven't heard of. But puff is not a Welsh word, just so you know. Neither is queer, neither is homo. I was like, I don't even know what these words are. And then over the course of time, I came to realise I wasn't going to fit in. Because I knew about these gay people over here. Apparently we had a lesbian in the village, but she left. But I didn't really know anybody to speak to. But I also knew I was really into church and I was loving Jesus. But I was like, but hold on, these guys over here don't seem to like these guys over here. And I don't even know where these guys are at all, but I'm pretty sure they don't recognize those guys. And so my life, from that point, became an awkward turtle. In order to be affirmed or validated, I was looking for the success map. I was like, okay, what do I need to do to be accepted? In school, I was the top of my class. Everything that was offered, I wanted to be absolute best, just so I would get noticed. We have a tuck shop, which I'm not sure, is that an Australian word? Would you say tuck shop in Australia? Okay, like, yeah. So effectively, I would volunteer in the tuck shop. And we had these little bars called Freddo bars, delicious. And I wanted to sell the most Freddo bars, because if you sold the most Freddo bars, you get rewarded with Freddo bars. Yes! So I loved that as well. I was like, yes, I can get recognition here. Yes, I can get a Freddo bar. When I left school, I was like, right, I want to be in the top university in the country. I want to be doing an incredible course. But when I got there, I exploded into this city where which was full of gay people, and I think I knew like 2, and they were all on the television. I was like, oh my gosh, here are my people. And so I was like, right, okay, I'm gonna go into the gay scene, and I'm like, I'm gonna have the best dance moves, I'm gonna have the best boyfriends, or less than boyfriends. I'm going to take the best drugs, I'm gonna be like the A-gay. Or at least I thought it was. And then I moved on to, okay, cool, so right, okay, I'm gonna go into my career, what can I do to get profiled? Well, do you know what, I'll go into a challenging teaching organization where they parachute these incredible graduates into the most challenging schools in the country and say, hey, I hope you can help. Yes, I would do that. Yes, I would put myself in those challenging circumstances. Because of the work that I did, before long I was in front of Gordon Brown and Tony Blair in different periods at number 10 Downing Street, talking to them about educational advocacy and LGBT advocacy. Well, I wasn't happy with that. I was like, okay, cool, I don't really feel very fulfilled. So, do you know what? I miss church. For years I hadn't been to church. I was like, I'll go and find a church. And I found a church. And they were amazing. But what became clear after a while was, in order to be accepted, I was going to have to shift myself again. And in order to be affirmed and validated again, I was willing to compromise everything that I was in order to comply. So my friends had to go. My identity had to go. I was going through what's referred to as gay conversion therapy, which, if you don't know anything about it, is when they put you through a form of pseudotherapy to cure you from your homosexuality. Nobody sat me down and said you have to do it. Why did I do it? Because I was determined to do what everybody else told me I needed to do to be successful. I desperately wanted to belong. I went back home to my village and I was in front of this elderly gentleman called Mr. Jonathan, who's now passed on, and he said, do you know, Rhys, because he's Welsh, do you know, Rhys, the amazing thing about you is, you've done all of this, my lad, and you haven't forgotten yourself. I was like, oh yeah, thanks for showing us. And I walked away and I thought, you are completely wrong. I have done everything that people have asked me to do. And yet, I wasn't fulfilled. By that point, I was 12 years single because I just didn't know how to identify with people. I'd been diagnosed with toxic codependency and high-level anxiety. I had $80,000 worth of debt. I had drug issues. I couldn't connect with people effectively, and on the surface, everything looked amazing. I mean, you know, people shoot me. But underneath it, I'd been a passenger in my own life. Anxiety is now my asset, and now I take everything that I've learned, all the healing journey that I've gone, to get in front of people and say, if my professional and my personal experience can teach you anything, it's that you can be successful, but the only way you're going to be fulfilled is if you're on your own game plan. So I'm the CEO of Get a Good Word, and the premise of that organization is to get in front of not only the LGBT community, but type A anxious overachievers, or people who want to make something out of their lives, of which there are a good number in this room, and help them to tap into their passion and purpose. The final thing I want to say is, I'm all about passion and purpose. So let me give you a bit of a formula. People are like, I want to know what the steps are. I'm not going to give you steps, but I'll leave you with a bit of a picture. I believe that living a life of passion and purpose, which sounds like a bit of a buzzword, right? Like, yeah, I've read the book. No, let me tell you. Living a life of passion and purpose is like going through a really, really long, hard trek through the bush, or up a mountain, or through the countryside, if you're English. And it's hard, and you push on that. Why the heck am I even doing this? What's the point of this? I haven't even got any water. Like, why are we doing this? And you push and you push and you push and you push, and you get to the top of this hill, and you push through some thicket, and you come out the other side, and you have that sense of relief that you've really earned something. And as you walk into this clearing, there's a campfire there. And the campfire is crackling and burning, and it's pumping out heat. And around the campfire are some people. And those people are the people that you want to do life with, the people that you want to benefit in your life, the people that make you come alive. That is the recipe for a life of passion and purpose. If you know your fuel, your skills, achievements, your accomplishments, your pains, those things that people said to you, did to you, those challenges that you went through, all of that is fuel for your success. The second is fire. What excites you? What motivates you? What Netflix programs do you watch? sounds ridiculous, but there's a pattern there. We all work on a pattern. What gets you so motivated? What do you cry at? What do you wish that you could do? That's your fire. And the third one is your folk. Who are your people? Who are the people you want to be around? Who is your tribe? What's the organization you want to work for? Who are the people that you want to help? If you live a life of fuel, fire, and folk, you will be fulfilled. I can promise you that. Thank you.